it's Kija here, and today we have another Paragon gameplay to look at. In this gameplay, we'll be looking at Gideon, who's a ranged energy damage carry that excels in AoE control and quickly bursting down his opponents with his right click and Q. Before this video begins, I'd like to thank GenerationHollow for providing this gameplay that he captured at the Paragon Community Event. And also, once you're done with this video, if you'd like to check out his channel, all of the links will be in his description. I really recommend it. He makes great videos on games such as Subnautica and Paragon. Alright, let's jump into the gameplay. We can see that Gideon started with a very typical mid laner build. He opted to buy a health potion, a mana potion for sustainability, as well as a ward to get him some vision. Also, we can see that he's laying down the harass on the Howitzer. He's able to do this because he's in a 2v1 lane. Howitzer can't really fight back. The enemy Steel comes out from the jungle, seeing if he can get anything. They weren't able to land a root, which would have been useful to harass the Steel, so they're back to just laning phase. The enemy Steel sneaks around and gets Gideon, able to do a fair bit of damage on him, especially with that ability charging him. But it seems like Gideon will be fairly okay because Howitzer did not move up with the orange Steel, so Gideon can just easily regain that health with his health potions. And right now, Steel is acting a little aggressive. They're pushing the lane a little, at least Steel is at the moment. I don't know if pushing the lane right now, oh, and even Gideon with that Q is definitely going to push the lane right up near Howitzer's tower. I don't know if that is the smartest idea, especially because in this 2v1 lane, they don't want to open themselves up from ganks from the jungle. When they're pushed up the lane like this, Steel can easily come in and punish the aggressive behavior that Gideon and Steel are showing when they push the lane. And also, when the lane is pushed like this, it's a lot harder to zone Howitzer from his minions, and because it's a 2v1 lane, it would be pretty easy to make sure Howitzer has a really tough time last hitting all of the blue minions if Steel and Gideon played under their own tower. Here we have Gideon trying to lay down some harass, but really just pushing the lane farther. I don't know if that Q was the smartest idea. Perhaps a right click on the Howitzer would have been a better usage of mana and also a more useful harass overall for the lane. Looking at the map, we can see Twin Blast absolutely demolishing right lane. That'll definitely help out blue team. He's almost taking a tower already. I think that tower is going to go down quite soon. And there it is. Tower goes down. Looking at left lane, we see that the friendly Sparrow and Kalari are getting pushed back by the enemy Twin Blast and Gideon. This is probably going to open up a lot of ganking opportunities for the blue Steel and the blue Gideon in the future. Right now they're just pushing the lane more. I don't think they fully realize. Oh, Steel comes in for a gank from the jungle. Gideon's able to put down that slow, basically denying him of any damage. And also because Howitzer couldn't really move up because he was in the pit, it was quite a lackluster gank by Steel. Nothing could really come of that. Although it wasn't too risky, seeing as the orange minion waves was so large that if the blue team, blue Steel and blue Gideon, were to try and counterattack and net a kill on Steel, they probably would have died by the orange minion wave if they pursued Steel. Alright, we can see this is quite good for blue team. They're starting to get pushed to their tower. This leaves Howitzer in a position where he can easily be aggressed against by the Steel and Gideon and perhaps net the blue team another kill. Although the lane is pushing up once more. Oh no, it's actually still pushing towards the blue tower, which is good. Although with that Q, I believe the lane will soon push back to Howitzer's tower. Although that Q could be to make sure the orange minions stay out of the tower and Steel and Gideon can land easy last hits. Alright, we see that with 9 card points, Gideon is opting to back, seeing as he has no more regeneration with his mana or health potion. Steel is, however, staying, probably to soak up that solo experience. Let's see what he buys. He's eyeing the Wellspring Staff and the Staff of the Adamant. He chooses the Staff of the Adamant. I think that's the correct choice. It gives him a lot of damage as well as some health for survivability. Although he upgrades it with 2 major casts rather than 3 regular casts. I think 3 regular casts would have been a better idea, or a better option, simply because he could get the max bonus and more stats overall. He Qs the steal. I think that's a slight misplay. He probably should have queued the ranged minions to protect this tower, seeing as if the ranged minions dies, the orange team can't do anything to the tower, and also the tower would start attacking the enemy steal a lot quicker, possibly netting a steal. As we can see, steal is very low. One more tower hit would have killed him. Seems like blue team can't really aggress on this. Steel is trying to make something happen, but the orange team is too far away. Orange team gets away relatively unharmed, although the tower doesn't go down either. It's a pretty neutral trade. We see Gideon looking to gank left lane. Perhaps he sees that there's no tower for Twin Blast to hide behind, but he changes his mind instead, opting to go for the right lane, probably seeing that Steel is overextending a little in his lane. Kalari is moving with Gideon. Let's see how this gank turns out. Gank opts to take Gideon opts to take a different path. He could torn space up that wall, but chooses instead to save his torn space, perhaps for an escape if the gank goes sour, or as a catch-up if Steel is able to get away. But it doesn't look like Steel is going to be able to get away. He was completely pushed too far up. There was nothing really he could do. Gideon could torn space to this Murdoch and net another kill for his team with a slow, but it doesn't look like he notices it in time. However, the friendly Twin Blast definitely is trying to exploit Murdoch's aggressive behavior. Murdoch's pretty far back. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get this kill. However, if Murdoch stays like that, Murdoch is definitely making the wrong decision. He's very greedy. He needs to back up, and Gideon sees that greed and definitely starts exploiting it with a slow. With that slow, his team will be able to catch up. Even if Murdoch were to activate that barrier to push one of them back, there'd still be another 3 to net the kill. So there's no way. Once Murdoch pushed up, he sealed his fate. And with Murdoch's death, I believe the fate of this second tier tower is also sealed. However, there are 3 orange players up, and we can see none of them on the map. They're probably organizing a counterattack on the blue team right now. I'd be cautious, but I'd still think that this tower is relatively easy to take down. Gideon uses his Q to clear the wave. We can see the enemy Steel coming in from the back, doing some damage, but not enough. Although his ultimate comes in a little late, but hits all 4. This is an excellent setup if his team is around. We can see Twin Blast coming in, as well as Howitzer. They put down the damage on the blue team, especially Gideon, who takes a whole bunch of AoE damage, and eventually falls to Murdoch's snipe. That was a well-placed snipe by Murdoch that caught him out. We can see that Gideon is opting for another Staff of the Adamant, this time upgrading health, and he also upgraded his previous Staff of the Adamant to get both of those max bonuses. I definitely think getting those max bonuses is the right idea. He sees orange team is quite pushed in right lane. He's probably thinking this is a gank opportunity. Let's see how it turns out for him. Right lane is, or orange team is dropping into the jungle. He puts down a ward. I think that might have been a misclick. The Twin Blast and him are in a little bit of a skirmish. Both of them are out of place. If either teams move up on either Gideon or Twin Blast, they could probably net a kill. However, both Twin Blast and Gideon decide to run away. We can see Gideon and Kalari chasing a couple orange members. Looks like Gideon is trying to, the friendly Gideon is trying to pincer them as they get into mid lane, and he sees an out of place enemy Gideon and is able to burst him down quickly. He also sees a lot of oblivious orange team members. This is an excellent setup for his ultimate, and he lands it perfectly, hitting all 3 orange members in mid lane, and they just absolutely get demolished. I think one of the keys to victory right there was that Gideon not only had an insanely beautiful ultimate right there to eliminate the orange team, but also that he had just came back from the card shop, so he had that very large card advantage with the 2 staffs of the adamant over the enemy team. And this just frees up left lane and mid lane for the blue team. That's at least 1 mid lane tower. I believe they can probably get another one, and left lane is also going down with Twin Blast split push. Although, perhaps the orange team will come up in time, seeing as the blue team only has 3 minions on this tower right now. I don't think they can take it out before all those minions come down. They're staying on the tower. That means Steel is taking a lot of unnecessary damage there. Perhaps he doesn't realize that the tower takes a lot less damage when there's no enemy minions near it. Alright. You can see the enemy still trying to protect the tower, but it's not enough. The carries flank around from behind, but they're in a very poor position right now, seeing as their friendly steel can't get to them. However, the blue steel easily can, and they easily get taken down by the carries. Gideon steps out of the other Gideon's panic ultimate and doesn't take too much damage from that engagement. However, he is relatively low health, so he doesn't want to engage that howitzer despite his low damage. Instead of running away, he opts to jump into the jungle, perhaps to save... Yeah, he's trying to save his blue steel. He uses his Q instead of his right click. I don't think that Q was the smartest idea and the smartest use of mana, seeing as there's no way he can really take down this orange steel. However, if he had slowed the orange steel, I believe he could have probably saved the blue steel and himself. And right now, there's no way that he can save the blue steel. He probably should have started running out of there about 5 seconds ago. But it seems like his greed is going to be punished. Although he has torn space up, just enough mana, but he doesn't torn space in a very good spot. He could have probably turned 180 and tried to juke him, but I think once he stayed for that long in there in the jungle, he would have had to pull off some amazing feats to survive that. He upgrades a Chronomancer, getting some more damage as well as survivability with the health and mana. He sells his ward and buys a Wellspring Staff. That's always a good idea to sell your 1-cost cards once you have enough money to afford another equipment piece. He could have sold another one of his 1-cost cards, whether it be the Health Potion or Mana Potion, to get a 2-cost upgrade, but he opts instead for the more sustainable play. He sees 3 coming in through left lane, trying to get the tower. They walk into his Q, definitely a lot of damage coming out by Gideon. They're just walking into his attacks. They really overstayed their welcome here, allowing Gideon to clean up that with a great ultimate to kill the remaining 2 champions as well as the entire orange minion wave, saving the left lane tower and also netting him a triple kill. With this, he can push entirely up left lane, seeing as all of the rest of orange team is occupied in mid and right lane. He will most likely be able to get this inhibitor simply because the orange team is just recovering off of all those deaths, as well as trying to fend off the split pushes in the right and middle. So Gideon can take this tower with complete ease. No one from orange team is even able to stop him. He's using his Q to clean the minion wave to buy his minions a little extra life. You can see the scoreboard that blue team is definitely ahead. They can definitely make a lot more trades. It's a lot more favorable for blue team to make some damage trades, seeing as they have so much more. I think Gideon was opting to go attack the core, but he instead chooses to gank right once he sees steel approaching. This Gideon is out of position. Twin Blast and Gideon are going to take advantage of this, and they take him down easily. Howitzer is also out of position, and the Kalari and Gideon and Twin Blast all collapse on him, and it's 2 easy kills for blue team. And with this, they can probably siege down the middle inhibitor. Twin Blast, very greedy play by Twin Blast, trying to get some damage and perhaps clear some of the blue minions. I think probably the reason why orange team is playing so poorly here is because they believe that they need to make risky plays to try and save this middle inhibitor. But these risky plays aren't really working out for him. I think more defensive plays would be smarter. Although now we see blue on the aggression as the blue steel dives the orange team. I think that's going to get him killed, seeing as he didn't really have any follow-up from his team and also follow-up from himself. Although the rest of the blue team are able to easily get out of that engagement, seeing as most of them had their escapes up. Gideon starts running away, but notices that he can snare the enemy steel. He slightly mistimes that Q. He could have used it earlier and gotten a lot more damage, but I think Steel's fate is still sealed. He doesn't have his escape, and they're all stuck on him. Red buff drops. Twin Blast uses his ultimate, but he just doesn't have the damage, and Gideon and Sparrow are able to clean up that kill. Gideon picks up the red buff, making him a lot more powerful, but he's going back, so the red buff duration will not be as useful on him. It's an understandable back, though. He had 10 points. He decided to sell his mana potion and buy some more damage and a Wellspring Staff, and now he's back with his blue team as they siege down middle lane. There's really nothing orange team can do right now in terms of aggression. It's like that scene in Predator where there's a bunch of predators getting demolished on the little pillar, little pedestal as all the aliens come up. They can try and hold out for as long as possible, but eventually the blue team is just going to siege them to death. The blue team is playing slightly defensive, just waiting for the orange team to be sieged. Although Gideon is looking for an opportunity to torn space in and probably take out some of the... Yep, here he is. He torn space in. Although that ultimate really only gets steel and a little bit of howitzer. However, just because blue team is so far ahead, they're able to just demolish the enemy team. Yeah, especially with those super minions helping them, there's really nothing the orange team can do. They were too far behind and too far sieged. And with the ace of the orange team, the blue team can easily take down the orange core. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any feedback, I'd really love to hear it in the comment section. I'm relatively new to this and I'm looking to learn to improve. Once again, I'd like to thank GenerationHollow for providing me this footage. He's a really great YouTuber. You should check him out. Thank you.